Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Thursday, March 28th, 2019. I'm Tim Geddes, joined by Fran Mirabella III.
Hey, Tim.
How are you doing?
Friends. I'm doing all right. You know, like you guys have been talking about on numerous shows, people are getting sick. After like an over year-long streak, I got a little cold, so apologies.
Yeah, you've seen better days.
Yeah,
but you know what?
Ones too, I'm excited to be here. So you almost won't notice the difference, I swear.
Well, yeah,
Other than the sound of the voice.
That. Yeah, still a good voice, though.
I might fall asleep.
You have one of the best voices in the business.
Oh, that's very nice.
It's true, though.
That needs to be the new nickname.
I love it when like you get into your VO voice mode because you just like you need to get into this other character.
It's true.
I love it.
It all goes back to the Avengers boy band.
Yeah,
that's where I really the first nailing it.
If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
What was the opening line again? Do you remember?
In a world.
It was something
it wasn't
like
in a world. It was.
Go back and it'll come to me.
And there came a day. It was the Avengers.
And then one day, I remember that.
Avengers
it was part
boy
of it.
band.
That was a good one. Tim.
It was
one of your best.
It was ridiculous. That was definitely something. I almost got in a car accident today.
Oh, what?
First time in my life. I've jinxed or not jinxed, whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I've never gotten in a car accident.
Yeah.
Never even really came close myself. And I was just going through an intersection, and this other car just like totally did not stop at the stop sign, and it was like in just the residential avenue, so it wasn't like either of us were going extremely fast.
Yeah,
but we're both going, I don't know, 25,
that's plenty
whatever it is
to get hurt.
Yeah, and like I'm like going, and I realized he's not stopping, and I look over, and the car was right next to me coming out. He was going to T-bone me. Wow. I was like, I had to swerve out of the way and shit.
Wow,
yeah,
dude,
it was really scary.
Okay.
And the guy, he stopped in the middle of the street, and then he like looked over me, and he I looked through my mirror, and he did like the what thing, and I was like, this motherfucker, like, are you kidding me right now? And I kept driving. I was like kind of shaking up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Of course. Adrenaline kicks in. It really, so fast.
I thought it was a for sure thing. I was about to get hit. And then I kept driving. And then I just going up the street. And then eventually, I was like being kind of cautious. And this car was trying to get out of being parked. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be nice and slow down and let him pull out. He pulls out and goes. And I'm like waiting for the hand, the courtesy hand.
Yeah.
Didn't get it.
Courtesy.
Didn't get it. And I want to let everyone out there know that not once in my life have I been in a car accident, and also not once in my life has anybody ever given me the fucking courtesy hand. I do it every time. No one's ever done it to me.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Not once.
San Francisco's filled with a bunch of punks, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. Just, hey,
little
that's
courtesy.
all it takes.
Just a little bit.
That's it. Just give me a little handy love.
Ohio people do that.
Thank you.
Because they're courteous.
Thanks.
That's right.
God, man.
Barrett
This is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday right here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We come to you with all of the video game news that you need to know. You can get the show live on Twitch at 10 a.m. or you can watch the video later, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames or on roosterteeth.com or on podcast services around the globe. Just search for Kinda Funny Games Daily. That's how it is.
Every time I hear around the globe.
Yeah,
I think isn't
Craig
that
Miller, man. He knows how to how to do the rigmarole like no one else can.
Yep.
To be part of the show, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free. Today's stories include Kaz Hirai is finally retiring. Monolith is working on more Zelda. And some FromSofware rumors going around. Let's see how this goes. Some housekeeping for you before we get into all of that. The Kinda Funny World Tour continues. Kansas City this week. Greg's already in Chicago, going to be on his way down to Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't know how this shit works.
It's very confusing.
Somebody fucked that up.
Split cities.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
It happens.
Yeah. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen at all. By the way, I keep saying this on different shows. We are officially on Endgame Ticket Watch.
So
we at any moment, I might just stop what I'm doing and start to buy tickets. I have notifications set so that all the Marvel accounts notify me when they tweet.
What would you do if in the middle of the show that you have to get Endgame?
Stop the fucking show.
Okay.
Stop the show,
dude. I will carry the show as you get me a ticket.
God, but no, it's just some sword and shield and
you think it's
cloak
coming
and dagger shit going on
any day?
April 2nd is the rumor.
Okay.
But you got to be ready, friend. You got to be prepared.
In the world.
We're going to Kansas City this Saturday. Come hang out with us all day at Planet Comicon if you have tickets for that. I know that there's a contest going on right now on the Kinda Funny Vids Twitter for people to win 4 passes we're giving out. So that could be pretty cool. We're doing panels all day. Like literally, I think every panel section, someone in Kinda Funny is doing a panel. And if you hang out with us all day, you won't miss anything. We are doing, it's me interviewing some Power Rangers, including the original Red Ranger, which is awesome. Then Nick is interviewing the Fonz, Henry Winkler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Greg's interviewing a whole bunch of Superman and people from Smallville. It's just a crazy time to be alive. And he's doing a one-on-one with Mick Foley. Come hang out. Then we're doing the Kind of Funny panel, including Andy. And then later that night, we're doing a meet and greet with everybody that is free. You don't need the Comic-Con pass for that. And then next week, we're going to New York. For more info on all of that, you can go to kindoffunny.com/events. And thank you to Patreon producers Blackjack, Tom Bach, and Muhammad for helping make all of this craziness happen. Today, we're brought to you by Quip and Harry's, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We got 4 news stories today.
A baker's dozen!
Thank you. The first one, it comes from Brian Ashcroft over at Kotaku. Kaz Hirai is finally retiring.
The legend, man.
The legend.
Yeah.
In April 2018, Kaz Hirai stepped down as Sony CEO, taking on the role of director and chairman. Today, it was announced that Hirai will retire from those roles in June. Kenichiro Yoshida, Sony's former CFO, took over the company after Hirai had brought it back from the brink. Previously, Hirai headed up Sony Computer Entertainment and oversaw the PS3's launch. In an official statement, Hirai said, since passing the baton of CEO to Yoshida-san last April as chairman of Sony, I have had the opportunity to both ensure a smooth transition and provide support to Sony's management. I'm confident that everyone at Sony is fully aligned under Yoshida-san's strong leadership and are ready to build an even brighter future for Sony. As such, I have decided to depart from Sony, which has been a part of my life for the past 35 years. I'd like to extend my warmest gratitude to all of our employees and stakeholders who have supported me throughout the journey. Even though Hirai is officially leaving his post, he will still be available for input should Sony need it. Sony's official announcement states that Hirai will continue to advise the company and act as a senior advisor after he steps down on June 18th. While he will be retiring from both chairman and our board of directors, Yoshida said in an official statement, we look forward to his continuing high-level support to Sony's management that encompasses a breadth of diverse businesses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just business. As
It
we
is
say
just
on the
business.
show. But meaning I thought back and I used the term legend because like you see these people at the E3 press conferences and you do kind of, they're sharing these huge messages with you that you just remember in that moment. You're like, oh, that was Hirai. That was at the top. Or it was Phil Harrison, who now we're seeing over at Google. So like these faces, you do get to know through that lens. Obviously, I've never had the chance. I don't remember if I've met Hirai. I don't think so. But that's the lens I remember. And like, it seems like these days, obviously, with Sean Layden and everyone else, that they've put them face forward, and Sony in Japan especially has taken more of that back seat. In fact, I still remember back to the PS2 days when the engineer, it was the main engineer that was working on the tech they even brought out. They were always bringing out everybody from the Japan side.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't really see that as much anymore.
Well, I feel like especially, on all the Japanese sides of things, whether it was Nintendo or Sony, I feel like they really, really, really overdid it in the earlier, well, I say earlier, but earlier days of E3 as we know it, right? Because E3's existed for a very long time, but it wasn't live streamed until 2007?
Ish, yeah, exactly.
Some of them maybe 2006, but it was around that time where it's videos would be recorded and posted later. But even that only started in 2005? You're not really going to find video footage of the E3 press conferences before that, unless it's very rare exceptions of, oh, maybe it's this one or maybe it's that one. There's handy cam footage of the GameCube Smash Brothers Melee reveal and stuff like that.
We had direct feed. I mean, you pretty much spot on with that, but definitely I'd have to go back and look, but I recorded all those press conferences as they were available. I'd bring up, the DV camcorder, but it was direct feed, and you're right. I would in my SUV where I rented a power source so I could encode on a laptop because the battery life would not last between the two places.
Yeah.
You'd run back and try to get up this huge hour-long conference, but
But think about that. When was that?
There was still early 2000 stuff happening, but you're right. It didn't really legitimize itself till around 2005-ish.
That's the thing is there was definitely a turning point where it went from being a consumer of E3 at home, where it went from reading the magazines a month later telling me what happened
to actually just watching it yourself.
To reading, but before that, there was steps where it's to reading articles online after, to then reading live updates of people that were in the room posting blog posts, right? To then eventually it was oh, there's video you can watch after, to eventually, oh, you can watch the video live.
Right.
And that happened over a decade.
Yeah,
you know?
no, and maybe that's what you're remembering is like, even if the video was available, like there were huge file sizes for what your internet was. There was no YouTube until, what was it, 2005? Oh, okay, 5. But yeah, till that happened, there was really, I mean, IGN had its video player and everything, and you could actually, yeah, it was not a great experience. You had to download any big file like that. You had to like go through all this rigmarole. Anyway, those are the Hirai days.
But the point being, like those days, I feel like it was just kind of like, it was almost more GDC like, where it was focused more on developers, more on the mainstream media, and just kind of like, we're talking about video games, and it was less focused because video games weren't what they are today. They weren't this like megaton fucking moneymaker that rivals Hollywood, right? And then there was a shift that's happened where now you look at it and it's like there needs to be faces. There needs to be people associated with the message, where I feel the first generation of that was Kaz, was Reggie, where we see them on stage, and that was an era. And to see both of them retiring officially in the same year, even though Kaz has been gone for quite a while.
He's been in the background.
Like some of the most memorable E3s, for better or worse, are the ones that Reggie came out talking about the DS, talking about
The Wii
Twilight
U,
Princess,
yeah.
and then eventually the Wii U and all that. But then we have Kaz, where it's like, the $599 US, and the giant enemy crabs and Ridge Racer and all that. It's like, you cannot get away from him being.
Yeah, that's what I think of. Obviously he's been behind the scenes doing a lot, but those are the moments where they take the stage and they're like, I've been in the background, like directing this stuff, and he obviously has had a huge impact, even if you only saw him at the E3s. And even now you see that he's still going to be on sort of on reserve. I wonder if that means that he still gets paid a little bit, or if it's just because he's invested so much.
See, that's where the business comes into play. I'm sure that there's some shady shit going on somewhere, but you know what? It's all good.
Yeah, it's like, dude, enjoy your retirement. I'm sure he will, but
he'll get paid $599 US.
He probably still has a certain amount of shares or whatever. Yeah, he'll get paid that much.
Yeah.
But
it's cool stuff, though. Again, it's like, those were formative years for what video games have become now. Whether not just from the press conference side, but even just like as a industry.
Totally.
And E3 is so important, and to see how it's changing now is like it's so interesting. But E3 is not dead. And it's like it's easy to say it's dead compared to what it was
this year.
But yeah, it's still going to be a huge thing, and I think that there's going to be more and more emphasis on faces to companies being recognized.
Yeah, but congrats to Hirai. Hirai-san, man. It's been a long run, and like I say, in the background, and love or hate maybe moments of the Sony history, the PlayStation has done really great over all these years and has grown. I mean, you remember when Xbox was the heyday, man, and things have really changed. And obviously there's new leadership, but he's, you got to give credit to the people in the background is what I would say. Like, I don't know all the details, but he's obviously worked there for 35 years and pretty hard. Yeah. And I remember him on stage. So congrats, Hirai-san, and enjoy your retirement.
Next up, interesting little tidbitty story. Monolith Soft.
Yeah.
Working on a new Zelda game. This comes from Joe Skrebels at IGN. Monolith Soft, the creator, it's a fake name actually. Monolith Soft, the creator of the Xenoblade series and co-development studio on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, is hiring for a new Zelda project. On a Zelda-themed recruitment page, as spotted by Japanese Nintendo, Monolith says it's looking for technical artists, programmers, planners, designers, and a project manager. No hint is given as to what the Zelda project would be, simply asking for staff who can help, quote, create new surprises and emotions.
Yes. I love the way that they phrase that.
So funny. Monolith previously contributed to Zelda Skyward Sword, helping with artistic and graphical elements. However, its work on Breath of the Wild centered on level design for the open world, particularly with regard to topography. Over 100 Monolith staff were part of the Breath of the Wild development process. That varying work makes it tough to guess at what kind of game it might be assisting with, although Monolith's interest and expertise in open worlds is a possible pointer. Late last year, Nintendo itself began hiring for a Zelda project. If Monolith is working with Nintendo in a similar capacity to previous projects, it could be a signal that this is the next mainline Zelda game. Now, before we keep going into this, I want to jump over to my boy on Twitter, Stealth, who just added a couple interesting tidbits here. Monolith Soft helped work on both the original Splatoon and Splatoon 2, Pikmin 3 on Wii U, Animal Crossing New Leaf, and Happy Home Designer, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, A Link Between Worlds, Breath of the Wild. They're much more than just the Xeno Nintendo studio. When the team behind Monolith Soft split from Square, they were 40 people. Now they are almost 200 strong, and if they keep hiring and growing like this, they're going to hit 300 or even 400 before too long.
Yeah.
So interesting things. It might not necessarily be a big Zelda game. It might not be the Breath of the Wild sequel. I'd be willing to bet it probably is.
Yeah, they've had. It's funny. I didn't know that they helped on some of those other titles. I was going through Moby Games and trying to like look through their main credits and stuff. Link Between Worlds came up. I didn't like Pikmin, really.
Yeah.
Was it the first one? Which one did you say?
Pikmin
Stealth
3.
say?
On Wii U.
3. So yeah, they kind of, and you see that a lot. Like you'll see special thanks. Sometimes they just helped with something small. Sometimes it's the topography of Breath of the Wild, which is a huge project.
Yeah.
And interesting how, probably a team of, I don't know if it was 100 people or whatever took that over. But anyway, Barrett.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
You looked
my
at me.
question is, like, for a team like this, how late in the process do you think they join to help out with development cycle?
Well, I mean, what I'm seeing from this is that, so one, what is the game? We should answer that question.
Because we're
going to answer it.
Be helping with Link's Awakening.
They could, but not to the, I think.
Link's Awakening is almost done.
But maybe just answer that part of it is just because they're hiring doesn't mean they're already not working on it, right? Like
True.
you scale when the time is to scale. And so maybe they've been working on pre-production and everything from the questing to the all this stuff. And maybe now they need their topography. Who knows like exactly what stage they're at. But that doesn't mean they don't already have 50 people that are working on it.
Fair.
The games just happen that way. As you often hear for companies that develop their own engines, right? I mean, that team had been working for years without even a game being made. And then first they made the engine, like the Red, what's CG Projekt Red's engine? Is it Red Engine or something? But stuff like that happens in the background and they go through phases. But anyway, I'm with you. I'm optimistic. I'm like, this is either, something coming soon that it expands on Breath of the Wild, or maybe it's just like a flat out new mainline experience. But I'm with you. I think it's a big Switch title probably, and not like another smaller title. Let's call it, or sorry, 2D or
starting with that with Link's Awakening though, like you have to imagine that game is almost done based on what they showed.
I was asking, like, how late do they come into the process of development cycle? Because this could be them jumping in to help out with tweaks in the final
but
process.
the thing is, like, they're being brought on to create new surprises and emotions. So I don't think that they're going to add that to
at all.
Gotcha.
a remake of a Game Boy game. Okay. You know what I mean? So they already have that kind of.
I had to throw it out there.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that.
You never know.
But going back to what you're talking about what this game is, I think it's kind of somewhere in the middle of what you're saying, where it's not a Breath of the Wild game coming soon, like Breath of the Wild sequel coming soon, or the full next sequel coming later. I think it's Breath of the Wild sequel coming later. Like I think
we're
that
saying the same thing. Though.
Yeah,
I'm talking like 2020
while.
next year, but that's what they're headed towards, whether it's summer or the end of next year. And now they're going to finish it towards. I mean, the development cycles lately with Nintendo, granted, again, they've probably been working on a lot of stuff in the background, but it's been pretty impressive how fast and the quality they're pumping out.
Yes,
overall.
And no.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's the thing that we need to remember, we have to keep in mind is the Wii U days.
Yeah.
Where how many projects that we're now seeing were they working on then that they
like Super Mario
just,
Odyssey, it didn't just show up as a Switch game.
Exactly,
no
but it's like I feel
years of development.
I feel like we're about to enter a really interesting couple years of the Switch's life cycle where they've been killing it on an unprecedented level the last 3 years now?
Yeah.
2 years? 2.5 years? I don't know. Who
they
cares?
had the bench loaded.
But yeah, the bench was loaded. And now it's like, okay, cool. Those are all out now, or at least they're coming out and we're starting to move on. But it's like we're running out of things to port from the Wii U that was already done, right? There's less than a handful of games left.
Sure.
No matter what way you shake it. Then moving on from that, it's like, okay, sequels and iterations on things. And then it breaks out into the 3DS library versus the Wii U library. What was previously the console versus handheld of console's going to get the proper 3D Mario, whereas handheld gets the 2D Mario, or Zelda's probably a better example to use for that exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like each franchise kind of forks and splits into to different things, right? The Switch now gets all of that. And we're already starting to see that happen. We got new Super Mario Bros. U ported to the Switch. We also are getting Mario Maker 2 coming this year. So it's like multiple legs of Mario are already being we're seeing them and their examples on the Switch. And it's like we're soon going to hit the refresh thing where we have to get the sequels to all of those on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And how long have they been working on that or having that ready? Because for the Wii U, I remember specifically, me and you were at the conference where they the Nintendo conference in the room when they announced the Wii U.
Yeah.
Then immediately after, we got brought back and we got to play
Oh,
it.
yeah. We
And
went
then there was
downstairs, checked it
the Zelda video that they were playing that was just on loop over and
Yeah.
over that was like super impressive but never ended up coming to fruition. And
Played a party game.
Nintendo Land.
Oh,
there
yeah.
was Nintendo Lands. There was New Super Mario Bros. U, which was super like just iterative.
It was
at that
not the
point.
best.
Yeah. And it's like, but I remember us leaving just being like, all right, no, this sucks. But it's like, but at least maybe next year, what's Retro been working on? We're going to see Metroid. And then we didn't. And then you go further. It's like, then you didn't. It just kept going. And at some point, we were just like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
It's funny to hear you say this, and you'll have to recap for me what's coming this year, because we had this discussion a few Games Dailies back, or Gamescast, and I was like, we were talking about the stretch between the latest Nintendo Directs. And I was like, what's going on? And I was literally like almost verbatim of what you're saying now. I'm like, dude, like they used everything on the bench because they were Wii U games, right? And I was like, I don't know that the latest Nintendo Directs are going to come out with like banger announcements. And you're like, no, man.
They're gonna.
Well, but you said that, and then they did have like a couple things, but other than, I'm trying to remember, other than, what is it?
Link's
Awakening.
Link's Awakening.
Mario Maker 2.
Mario Maker.
Mario Maker 2.
What else is
huge?
big? Sure. But I mean,
Huge.
Fran,
Fran, don't push that to the side.
I like Mario Maker. I don't have the time to be awesome at that. But what I'm getting at is I think about games like you're mentioning, which are, look, I mean, it's Breath of the Wild, it's Odyssey, it's Metroid, main big stuff. Again, not that Mario Maker's not. I'm just saying that it's those really big titles.
Fran hates Mario Maker, confirmed.
No, or it's exclusive titles like Resident Evil 2 or something those are the ones that stand out for me. That's a personal thing. So what else, like, is there anything else really big?
I'm pulling it up now to remember what they announced specifically in that direct.
Where I'm going with this, Tim, is you and I are seeing
Fire Emblem.
that's
Three
true.
Houses
That
been
and
release
Animal
dates.
Crossing we knew were coming already.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, still
When?
getting. We now know the when for Fire Emblem.
we don't know for Animal Crossing yet, though. That's the
Animal Crossing. They
literally-
didn't talk about it.
We don't
in that
know when
direct.
that's coming yet.
Then we got Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Right. And that exclusive Persona announcement we were talking. Oh, no, I made it. Got you. Everybody's like, what?
And then they were just talking more about Yoshi and Hellblade. Like, it was a great direct.
I mean, it was solid, and I think it was really Link's Awakening. That is what super.
And
stood
Mario
out,
Maker
so.
2, Fran.
And
You
Mario
were
Maker.
sleeping.
I'm not
Hold on,
saying.
check this out.
Mario Maker 2 is amazing. The amount of detail, incredible. I'm actually excited about it. It's just that I've never had the time. And it's a little like we're going to talk about, I don't know if we're talking about Minecraft still today, but it's like games like that you can sink so much time into, and I really appreciate them. But I want, legit story-driven adventure or whatever is what I get excited about. That's all.
Totally.
I'm saying.
But it's
not
a
that I'm
little
not
bit of this, a
excited
little
about
of that. And I feel like you need the breadth of the library, right? Breath of the wild.
Here's where I go with this. Maybe I don't know the facts. Mario Maker does sell, but it's not a system seller. Right? I wouldn't say that. It sells very, very well. But when you look at games like Mario and Zelda and Smash,
Zelda's not a system seller either, though. It's just
it literally was a system seller.
Breath of the Wild's the
It was
only
literally
one ever in the history to be a system seller.
No, you knew Ocarina of Time was coming. I mean, that was 2 years later.
Mario 64 was a system seller.
Mario
Ocarina
64
of Time was a game that people played because they had the system.
No, time out. The reason
Because there was nothing else to play on that system.
You were being unfair to where they position Zelda in the release timeline normally, which is always a few years after launch. Mario has always been positioned. That's not Link's fault, dude. Don't blame him. That's all I'm saying.
Link, Tim.
Yeah, don't pick on Link because you know why? They saved the best for last.
Yeah, dude.
That's right. I love Mario too. Anyway,
No, of course.
I think we're getting off track, which is I'm actually still impressed, and they have some awesome stuff coming this year. But when are we going to get those big new announcements for whatever the next big Zelda title is? Another Metroid. We know it's out there somewhere, and that they had to reboot it with a new studio. But those are the ones that we really get super excited about. So again, it's not that I'm not excited about.
Totally.
those.
But the thing,
I thought we were agreeing, which was this year's still a little soft. But I think next year,
I wouldn't say it's soft.
compared to what we just talked about, though.
Okay, totally. But
Like the first year and a half of Wii,
2017 was
Switch.
like a exception to the rule.
Yeah, and that's with any consoles lineup ever, I would say, with the exception of, well, I mean, I guess that year, even with Sony and stuff, it's just like they had such a killer year of exclusives where it's like you can't expect that year after year after year.
No,
It's impossible.
I don't expect it all in 1 year. I just expect to know, I don't expect to know.
Here's the
with
key thing
Nintendo. I'm
about-
just saying I want to know. It was the same thing I said before in this exact conversation. I just want to know whatever. It's coming. Something really big is on the horizon for 2020.
Pokemon.
Maybe. Yes, that's true. Pokemon. That's a good one. I forgot. That was in the direct.
It's the biggest one. It was not in the direct.
Oh, it was a
direct.
separate one.
Yeah.
That was after our discussion. That was a big deal.
But the important thing, the big
Forgot
deal
about that
about
one.
Mario Maker 2, Fran, is not that Mario Maker 2 is happening, is that it's a sequel, it's not a port of the
Yeah, it's a
original, and that it's coming
full-on-
in June.
Yes.
That to me says, oh, they have stuff in fall. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You look at the release dates, it's like,
I'm not saying
it
they
is
don't.
a
For all
smaller
we know.
title,
Yeah.
but June is soon, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, for all we know, Animal Crossing is in fall. I'm not
I
discounting
imagine that it is.
I'm not discounting that is. I'm excited about Animal Crossing too, especially on that platform. Plus the rumors about a new Switch around the corner, or a couple Switches. So like, look, it's not that it's not lining up to be an exciting year. I thought we were agreeing that the big AAA franchised, noteworthy stuff that we think about, Metroid, Zelda, Mario, that's a little farther out. But I could see, getting back to the story, I could see a world where maybe they really ramped up and got a new Zelda out next summer, next fall.
Yeah.
And that we'll be seeing
Because
the
that
results
engine,
of
the
this.
Breath
then.
of the Wild engine they could use again.
Exactly, and I've said that a lot too in our discussions. I was like, I would have killed, as they're out there also reinventing maybe whatever the next Zelda is, to literally do the Majora's Mask with, Breath of the Wild, which is put some
Absolutely.
major twist on it. I
imagine that's what we're getting next.
yeah, and that's exactly where I think it's going. So
I still
I think
that
we're
that-
agreeing.
Yeah, I still think that that's like a ways away. Like I don't know
Do
that
you
it's
feel like
a ways away.
2020's too soon? Maybe.
I think it is. I think it being
absolutely.
announced in 2020 could be possible, but
I could see it at the second to last year of the Switch life cycle.
you gotta think that. I mean,
like in 3-4 years.
but wait, take a
I think
step.
that's a little too far out.
Time out.
Yeah?
Couple things. Take a step back. One, think about, now I don't know where Smash Brothers was in development with like the Wii U stuff, but I don't know, when Switch and all that was announced, I felt they were like, oh crap, and also Smash Brothers. And we were like, oh gosh, when is this really gonna come out? And holy cow, the speed of development. I mean, I don't think that was like in development for tons of years.
No,
the
it
pedigree
wasn't.
that they've had, the size of the teams, leveraging Namco.
They started
Bandai,
working
all
on
that.
it after the DLC ended, which was 2015.
Exactly. And so
But-
look at the speed of development.
But they announced the day they announced Smash, they had a release on it
Oh yeah, they said next year or whatever,
this
right?
year. They like it came out and it said 2018.
Was
Like
that when
they
no, I
had
thought they
the-
announced Smash logo at like one of the first we
The
knew it was
reveal,
coming somewhere.
we didn't. The reveal was the inkling with the eye, and
Yeah.
you saw the Smash thing, and everyone's like, "Holy shit!" And then it ended saying 2018,
And wait, Switch came out
2017.
2017, so it's been almost 2 years, or it has been 2 years now. Where in fact, whenever the anniversary was really like just recently.
Yeah,
All I was trying to point out, still, their speed of development and partnering with companies, that's where they've really done a great job leveraging things. And that's all I wanted to point out. We
Mm-hmm.
were talking, what, April of 2017? Was that Zelda?
March.
It was day and date or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was like
Yeah, it was a
a
launch
few
title.
weeks after. We are now 2 years out from that. You're talking already 3 years next year reusing
Yeah.
the engine. So I think it's possible. is
That
all
is
I was gonna
true.
say. I don't
It's true.
disagree that on their timeline, I wouldn't be surprised if it's 2021, but they can't afford that wait that long either, I feel like, because, right, what's next year? You never know
They'll
with
have
it.
answers, I'm sure.
I did forget about Pokemon though. What a banger to overlook. Like
Yeah.
that's a big deal. A totally new Pokemon 3D. That was a big deal.
That's coming, and you gotta bet it's alongside the new 3DS. That's a lower end one. Like they're gonna do a bundle that is probably gonna be.
Do you think
handheld
3DSs? Did you already
focused.
talk about this then? Like they didn't say there'd be another 3DS, right?
No, I mean
did.
they've essentially said that there isn't.
Well,
You know,
then what did you mean? I thought you were just saying this would come along some new 3DS.
did I just say 3DS?
Yeah,
I meant Switch.
Yeah, you said 3DS. That's what got me.
Sorry, the two
We're-
new Switches that are rumored.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm with you on that. Where it's
It's
like
you don't put out a new gen Pokemon game without giving families the option to buy a second Switch for their second kid so they can trade the Pokemon and
yeah. It's like probably a
makes so
cheaper
much money.
version of the current Switch. And then I don't know if they'll phase out the current Switch for this new higher end one, if that's what it is. But yeah, I totally agree with that. It's like Switch is just going to be Switch, and it's more a replacement for the 3DS for now. And then you have the high end version in that. You think it'll be a launch potentially? Is that what you were saying?
I imagine.
Like summer. It's already ready this summer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like. I mean, I thought the trailer looked a little vacant, but they do that all the time when they're just not showing you anything yet. But I mean, it was running and the world looked big, so maybe you're right. Ready this summer. Either way, I think we're agreeing, which is this is maybe in the vein of Breath of the Wild, using the same engine, and whether it's next year or the year after.
Yep.
It's super exciting.
Absolutely. Next news story, a little Minecraft stuff. This is a weird one. Minecraft removes mention of Notch. This comes from Luke Plunkett at Kotaku. The latest Minecraft update makes a few changes to the decade-old phenomenon, none more notable than the fact that the game's splash screens have removed all mention of Minecraft's creator, Marcus Notch Pearson. Person. Previously, the game's splash screens, the yellow text you see when Minecraft boots up, would display random messages, and some of them reference Person with stuff like made by Notch and the work of Notch. As of the 19W13A snapshot released earlier today, those are all gone now. We reached out for official comment for the reason his name is now missing from the screens. As possible background, though, Minecraft is a game played by millions of kids all over the world and is now owned by Microsoft. Meanwhile, Notch has become a conspiracy theorist with increasingly erratic Twitter behavior. Note that while his name has been removed from the splash screens, Person is still listed as the game's creator in Minecraft's credits.
Mm-hmm. I think that the note you had made in there about just his erratic behavior and stuff, that's like sort of makes it obvious why they're doing this. Like I think if you followed him at all on Twitter, and he said some things beyond just erratic behavior. So it's kind of wild, and the type of game it is, I don't know that Microsoft wants to put that face forward, like someone for kids to look up to, and then they're following him on, Twitter. I really assume that it has a lot to do with that because.
I mean, it's that.
Yeah, but also a period of time has passed since the Mojang
purchase.
Yeah, I was going to say acquisition. I was like, they did purchase all of Mojang, right? Not just Minecraft. So it's been a while too, and like there's a point in time where it's not Shigeru Miyamoto's Zelda anymore either.
Absolutely.
And so I think we're just crossing into that phase too. Like Notch has not been instrumentally involved in many years, so I think it's almost a discredit in some ways to all the latest producers and programmers. Like, sure, he set the stage, but it's time to move on from that. But it's good that he's still in the credits. He did create this huge thing, and for all we know, it's contractually like a part of it. But his Twitter behavior in particular, I think, has been a big reason that they've maybe accelerated this even.
Yeah.
So
I'm interested to see if they do come out with an official comment on it. I kind of doubt that they will, but
I think they'll stay very far away from like any official comment.
Interesting. Well, Fran, it's time to get on the hype train because we're going choo-choo to Rumor Town. All right, from Software Rumors, this comes from SpawnWaveMEdia, and it's backed up by Liam Robertson. These are well-known people on the Twitters when it comes to kind of rumors and things going on behind the scenes in video games.
The underbelly. Not
always right, but in my experience, oftentimes they are. There's been a couple of really credible things, especially in the Smash Brothers Nintendo side, that has come to fruition from this. But the rumors are as follows. Published by Bandai Namco, a fully open world game, a bunch of kingdoms that you can go to in any order, and you get abilities from killing the leaders of these kingdoms. Think like Mega Man in a way. In a new way, is what they said. And it might be announced at E3. George Railroad Martin is one of the lead writers. Whoa. Those are the rumors.
That one is a little more surprising out of all those. The rest feels like sort of on the nose. Like they've branched off, obviously, and worked on Sekiro with Activision, right? But then, what's been going on with the Bloodborne team, the Dark Souls team, et cetera, and what's the next evolution of that, because they said Dark Souls is done at least. I actually still think Bloodborne 2, maybe it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive type thing, but so what's next? I think all of that makes a lot of sense. Like a big, more of this open world, gaining abilities, like that lines up with, it sounds cool. It sounds cool that you beat this boss and you take on
Dark Souls, Mega Man together. It's like that kind of sounds like a match made in heaven, right?
I mean, even if this is not being made, this is a great elevator pitch. So somebody should do this.
Totally. And it's like, I do think that this is like such a surface level rumor where it's like, it's hard to, if you were to pitch a From Software game, a lot of this stuff would be like, duh.
Yeah.
Right? But I do think that the bunch of kingdoms you can go to in any order and the Mega Man ability element is pretty unique and cool because I haven't seen that before from these type of rumors and stuff. The George R.R. Martin bit.
That's the one that I'm not, like lead writer? He can't even
That's
finish
my
his
thing
own
is
book
he can't
series.
finish his own book,
We
so it's
all
like
knew that was
people would
coming.
be so mad about that. Like if that were the case, like people only give a shit about him because of in the mainstream way, because of Game of Thrones, and until he finishes that, it's like don't take on other projects.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is where it almost gives the rumor credibility is that, well, it had it wrong that he was the lead writer, but that he's like leading the writing team or something. That maybe it's
something.
off that he's like, accredited, like,
Because you got to
that's what they
imagine
want.
if they have him, they're going to want to use his
Yeah.
name, right? They're going to
From
want
the
to
mind
like
of George R.
exactly and do all of that. But like that could be cool, like from software with George Martin.
Definitely.
Right? Like that's a lot. This sounds interesting as hell.
It sounds both, like you said, it's right on the nose, and I feel like we could have sat down and made this up today, and it's all.
And
made
speaking
from
of
us.
that, and I do want to say this, like on the show, we don't always talk about rumors and whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're fun. I just want to bring them up, especially on slower news days.
Slow
But,
news day, everybody.
But with
Dig
that,
deep.
I will say that another rumor that I was going to put in here that came up on Reset Era
Go for it.
via 4chan was about Destiny 3, supposed leaks. There's this whole
What? I didn't
long
see it.
thing of like story elements and what the gameplay might be and all blah, 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 blah. And then by the time I was gonna even put it here, it had already came out that the original poster was like, this is totally fake. I made it up. Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, so you got to
So
be
it's
very
like,
careful with
Be
this.
careful, grain of salt.
get
but
your
it's
hopes
fun
up too
to,
much.
fun to speculate, you know?
Yeah, it's fun to imagine whatever's next from them. But like you said, these folks, I'm actually not as familiar with them, but they do have some, like they're more like the roulette table.
Yeah,
like,
these
you
guys.
might land on black or red, but like
Exactly.
sometimes they get it
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, Liam Robertson does a lot of work with the Did You Know Gaming guys.
Okay, wait, actually, I do know that name.
And all that. And it's like, that they're in it. They're in this shit. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
like
cool stuff.
they already have a filter before they put this stuff out. So it's made it up the ranks a little bit, even if that's part of their business, so to speak. But dude, I mean, I think here's what really does make sense, which is, as I was getting at, they've been working on something for Activision. Sekiro's amazing. But what are they doing out there? Like outside of that, Dark Souls and Bloodborne, people have just been waiting for a really long time. I think the E3, that kind of makes sense to me that's probably the time we're finally going to hear whatever's going on with that. So,
Yeah.
so that I'd put some credibility in this. I feel like some of it maybe is a little off, but but it sounds legit.
Tantalizing.
Yep.
Man. But
I'm
E3,
tantalized.
Fran, is so far away.
Oh,
If I want to know what games were coming out today, where would I look?
well, you'd look to the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily show host each and every weekday.
Thank you. Out today, Ultra Wings on the Nintendo Switch. SON on PS4.
Get it, son.
Cruxlear Sigma on the Switch. Oh, here we go with this one. Prepare
Croylure,
yourselves.
is that Crux? I have no
I don't
idea
know. How do you say
it
that?
either. Maybe it's Croylure.
Croixleur.
You do drink LaCroix.
Yeah, so is it like Croylure?
Maybe.
I don't
I've
know.
never heard of it.
I don't know. She remembered caterpillars on the Switch.
SRC, baby.
Kevin,
Yeah.
please get me She Remembered Caterpillars.
On it.
Fun Animal Park on the Switch. Minotaur on the PC. The World Next Door on Switch, PC, and Mac. Gods Remastered on Switch. Gouken on Switch. Inferno Climber Reborn on Switch. Istanbul Deluxe Edition on Switch. Lyrica on Switch. Sega Ages Alex Kidd in Miracle World on Switch. Sega Ages Gain Ground on Switch. Undead's Building on Switch. Super Tennis Blast on PC. The Horus Heresy Legions on PC and Mac. And Talk 2 on PC. Now this is She Remembered Caterpillars.
It's cute. They're seeing it on the show, right? So if you're
Yeah.
watching, you can see it.
It's coming to Switch.
Yeah, it's kind of a cute little, I don't know if it's Cubert, a Cubert-esque. What are they doing? Oh, they
Yeah.
got to make it to the flowers to
Kind
go
of
to
looks
the
like the
next
Go
area.
games. This looks like a Kevin game.
Oh, you got to send them. It actually looks pretty cute.
No.
So you got to send them to each area. These little what are they?
Caterpillars.
Larvae.
right? They're part of the cat.
But anyway, you got to send them to their little flower beds, and then they take off. Actually, it looks neat. I just wanted to mention, it always amazes me going through this list. It's like there's so many games out there.
So many games.
So
Every day,
many
man.
games on Switch.
Every day.
What do you think of the store on Switch, Tim? Like the actual organization? Are you pretty happy with it? Despite all these games coming out, you feel like they need to upgrade?
I mean, it's not perfect, but I feel the problem is like with stores is I don't have a better solution. Like there is never an answer that pleases everybody, right? I do think that it's cool that it's organized by like top selling. So it's just, and that's just for what we do. It's always
Makes it a lot
interesting
easier,
to know like what's
Yep.
how long things are on the charts. And
Do they have like Steam? You know, you might also like, and do they like sublist by action RPG and dark action like tagging? I don't think they do that level.
There is tags and stuff, but it's like
But you can't
You really got to
custom-
know what you're
yeah.
looking for going in.
Yeah, but
right?
see, but that's where I was going with it. Unless, kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. Unless you can do it, you can do it on Steam. I think that would be a step in the right direction because there's so much now. And really, we used to go to Steam for a lot of those big indie games. That was the place for it. And Switch has become a really great place for it now. But you can tag really like dark action, RPG. You can just do your tags and it'll recommend. Or you might also is pretty darn good on that platform.
I think what Nintendo's done a really good job with their store is since they have their multiple formats for Nintendo Directs, where they'll have their mini directs, their full directs, their single game directs, their showcases, and then the Nindy showcases specifically, where they do give a platform to these smaller titles and like kind of tell the audience like, hey, Celeste is important, keep your eye on it, or hey, like you should look at Golf Story or like these random smaller games. They'll focus on them in the directs that not everyone sees, but then when you boot up the Switch, there's the news feed.
Right, yeah.
They'll focus on those games when they come out and they'll be like, hey, check out Celeste, check out Golf Story. So it's like there is a curation process and they are focusing on some of these titles. The Messenger, there's been so many of those games.
That's a good point.
Dandara.
They help with that curation. So yeah, it's not like it's bad or anything. I would just look at there's so much of that stuff. Like unless I was on this show today and we did what you just did, you randomly selected by name. I don't know that I really would have seen that one.
Oh, yeah, definitely
It was
not.
nice to give it a highlight.
It's hard. Curation's hard. It really is.
How do you, there are whole teams of people, like that's how Apple runs its app store, right? We know many of the people that have worked there or work there. And like, I don't know how Nintendo does it. We know like Michael Pereira, if you remember, worked at IGN. He's more on writing up this new stuff, I think.
He works
right?
a lot of stuff on the news.
So I'm sure he's involved a little bit. I wonder what their team looks like at Nintendo. Do they curate or do they just let the cream rise to the top, And it's always interesting.
Yep. It is very interesting. Before we get to new dates, let me tell you that this episode is brought to you by Quip. Back to the new dates. Dreams Early Access got an actual release date, April 16th, $30. I know that a lot of people out there are going to be really excited about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it was like a pay for early access scenario. I think it makes a lot of sense for that game, but have we seen something like this where it's like, this is a major, first, second party title, right? And that it's like, what I'm getting from this is it's super ambitious. It is driven by players. And so that's why it's coming out as an early access. I don't know if we know the exact release date yet, but like
Early access April 16th.
Early access is, I'm saying, when's the game?
Oh God, no. We don't know that.
Exactly.
We'll never
but think
know
about it.
that.
It's not
potentially.
Yeah, but it's not like you got God of War early access. You see what I'm saying? Different.
It is
strokes.
totally different, yeah.
But we haven't really seen this that I can remember. Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm sure there may be
party
from early access from a major studio that charges you $30 buy-in to be a part of, growing and taking this in the right direction. Which I think it's probably the right move, right?
Yeah.
Like it's.
The
You know what I mean?
the counterpoint to it is I don't know what the right move would be for a game like this because what me and Greg have talked about for years is are they just going to put this out free?
How do they do that now? You can't charge somebody $30 to be a part of early access.
But I'm talking about
you
before
can.
that. So it's like
That was their other option.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
And
we've been
free
talking
to
for years.
play,
Where it's like, are they really going to charge $60 for this game? Like that doesn't make sense in this climate where, and especially when we have Xbox with Game Pass and all this, it's like this seems like an Xbox Game Pass game that happens to be on PlayStation 4.
Yes,
It's caught
been
in a
one
weird
that
place.
always like with the reveals and everything. I've always been like really interesting. I'm surprised that like it's so heavily backed. I am, and I'm not surprised. In other words, comes from a studio with a great pedigree. Everybody loved Little Big Planet and all the creative stuff you could do in that. But with all the way Sony's been going between Days Gone and God of War and like Last of Us and these really high end Spider-Man, right? Like that is seemingly the first party direction overall. So anyway, it's always been sort of surprising, but clearly they believe in something there, and it's been great to support something new and creative.
and-
we just talked about Minecraft. Like when you see stuff like that, you just don't know till you get out in the wild. But it really is interesting to me that it's a $30 early access. Like part of me, I just wanted to raise the question: do you think it is so challenging, and it's just in a state where they're like, honestly, like we've got to get it out the door, and we've got to make some money back on this, and let's just get it out early access, see what people think. That way you get a little forgiveness. You're not charging the full price versus the other side of the mistake, which is they didn't release it for free and you bought it and you're like, that was not worth that because
Well, they had the beta a
they're
couple
like in
months
the middle.
back.
Yeah.
That people seem to really enjoy.
Yeah.
They made we on some stream that we did.
I saw, yeah.
We played a couple of the games that they made, and like they were really, really, really impressive, which you got to expect, right? Like, like Media Molecule knows what they're doing when it comes to creation.
These were the
tools.
ones they made within the world.
No.
These were other these were created by people.
Yeah. And so it's like I do think that a $30 entry point is creating a nice foundation for anybody that's willing to pay that, has a vision, wants to make stuff, wants to at least play around, to get enough quality content out there so that eventually when the full release comes, there is already a library of great content that maybe would allow those people to come in and be like, oh, this is awesome, instead of coming and being like, I don't know what the hell this is. Why would I pay for this, right?
That's true. Yeah, you got to build the library. I think that's a good point. It's just interesting, the cost of entry and all. But you gain access to these tools. You're early. You get to be some of the early creators. And if they see something they like, you're probably a good chance to be featured. You might even turn into a game designer one day because of it. So
like, it's a classic story that is very... very, very intrinsic to this is that I forgot his name, Seb, I think it was. We had on Gamescast years ago who made Snake Pass on Switch, and it's a pretty early Switch game. I think it's on other consoles as well, but
So good.
very, very good game. People loved it, and he was able to do that because he got hired by Media Molecule because he made levels for Little Big Planet. And they eventually just hired him.
Yeah.
And then he eventually started his own thing.
Yeah. I
Crazy.
mean, we could see that as people getting hired at other companies too, because now you've got other developers maybe looking in there at these top creations. So pretty interesting.
New dates a bit more. This is just like a new date as a year. Splash Damage said that they're working with Microsoft to bring Halo Master Chief Collection to PC. The news here is Halo Reach is coming first. We knew that. But it's also being worked on at the same time as Halo 1. And the rest of the titles will all be released in 2019.
Oh, sweet.
So this is the first time we heard that, like, yeah, they said it's going to be title by title, but Master Chief Collection should be fully complete on PC 2019.
Year.
And then coming up in just a couple minutes now, Gearbox's PAX East panel is coming. We talked about it yesterday, but they're going to officially announce Borderlands, whether it's called Borderlands 3 or whatever it is. We're getting the next Borderlands game. So stay tuned.
Mask of
for
Mayhem,
that.
was it? Or
And tomorrow on Games Daily, it's you and Imran Khan, right?
yes, which I've not met yet.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Awesome.
Fan-fucking-tastic. You guys are going to have fun, but I'm sure you'll talk a lot about Borderlands. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned for all of that. It's time for some reader mail. Steven says, with Cuphead releasing on Switch, what do you think the odds are of Rare Replay coming to Switch? Given Rare's history with Nintendo, it seems like the perfect fit.
I paused because I was like, well, Microsoft owns that now, right?
But with Cuphead coming to Switch, with
No, yeah, and it's
Hellblade
funny. We
coming to
talked
Switch.
about this on Gamescast, like not this title, but the concept of like them working more together. I mean, yeah, maybe. It just like, I don't know. I guess I give it pause because I'm like, I'm not sure is it a money? I don't know. It's a weird one.
100%.
Yeah, Tim's like
100%. Some form of Rare Replay will be on Switch in the next 3 years. Guarantee
Okay,
it.
well, 3 years. Okay.
In the next...
That's fine. I mean,
I'm trying to think about
you're
this. Like,
selling me on it.
year and a half, I'd even give it. Because whether it's the dream of all dreams, Game Pass works on Switch, Xbox Live's there, they fucking did it, blah, 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 then we'll be able to play it there. But I think more likely is we're not going to get Rare Replay on Switch in the same way we got Cuphead just straight up on Switch. The reasoning for that being that a lot of the Rare Replay games were not actually... the game itself, it was using Xbox 360 emulation. The Switch doesn't have that. The Xbox One has that. So that makes sense. That works. A lot of the other games, though, that's not true. Things like Banjo-Kazooie. I can see Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie being ported to the Switch as maybe eShop titles. Rare Replay becoming kind of like Sega Ages, where it's like a line that they digitally distribute on the Switch. I can see that happening.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very likely to happen.
Yeah, maybe
actually.
that's the short of it, is with the relationship evolving and we see Cuphead made it there. What? Just taking Banjo-Kazooie, like, why wouldn't you like go back and, bring that back? It's funny that, like, we haven't, so wait, I didn't play Rare Replay. You get both Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie in there? They're both in there, I think? It's interesting. That breaking them out, bringing them back to a Nintendo
Every Rare game
which
is
Nintendo
in
helped
Retro
produce
Replay, with the
and pay for.
exception of GoldenEye because of licensing issues, and the Donkey Kong Country games because Rare technically doesn't own.
Yeah, they didn't take
that side of it.
with
And
them.
Diddy Kong
But
Racing
Banjo,
and all that.
they do own, that part of it. Nintendo just had produced it for the exclusive period.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of funny to think about that Nintendo paid for and helped design Banjo-Kazooie, and now maybe it'll come back to Switch someday.
Yeah.
Whether it's through Rare Replay or standalone is kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what we got. Let's do one more here with Jacob B. What new games in the next few months are you gonna play?
Well, no brainer. I'm just excited about Days Gone.
Yeah, dude.
So,
Days Gone.
After
April.
hearing Greg talk about it, seeing the latest trailer that they released.
Oh my God,
it
fantastic.
was cinematic, dude.
Yeah.
I loved the vibe. I was like, just I could feel the tension, scored so well. And like, if they can bring that to moments within the game, because obviously that's 90 seconds and takes all the best looking parts of the game. But like, if that's the vibe of where it's going and the story, and I was a little more convinced hearing from Greg. So Days Gone, absolutely.
What I love so much about where we're at with video games is, and I said this when we did our reaction to the State of Play event, but Days Gone, that trailer that they showed, I saw it and my reaction is, this looks like a Sony first party game.
Yes.
And like, I
Now
love
I
that
can see it.
it's no longer like, oh, this looks like a Naughty Dog game. It's Sony first party is now in the same pedigree as Naughty Dog, where it's like, there's a Sony Ben game that I'm like, this looks fucking great. In the same way that I would the Naughty Dog game, in the same way that now Sony Santa Monica is up there, in the same way that Guerrilla's now up there.
Yeah.
It's like, we would have never said this a generation ago, but it's like now they just have this stable where we're looking forward to, what are they going to do next? What are they going to do next? And not just in I'm kind of interested, but in a way of like, I can't fucking wait. Like there's a pedigree here.
Nah, you make a good point. Between everybody, their stable of first party games has looked amazing. That was the discussion we had around, Google Stadia and that. It's like, man, like the games are so important, and can you imagine what they're working on in the background? The next God of War,
Spider-Man,
whatever's going to happen with Death
Insomniac.
Stranding.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
It's
So,
insane.
no,
It's fucking insane. But yeah, Days Gone.
That's
can't
me.
Can't wait.
What about
Definitely Days Gone, and State of Play also sold me. Mortal Kombat 11, man. I'm just not that big of a fighting game guy, but NetherRealm's story mode is so good always, and what they showed in that trailer, I'm like, this looks goofy and time travel-y and dumb as fuck, but they get it, and it looks so much fun. I can't wait. And it's coming to Switch.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, those are sort of
Airplane
obvious.
game.
I'm waiting on, in fact, it's like next week or something, I think, is it Katana Zero or whatever? We talked about it.
Yeah.
Is it Katana Zero?
Yeah,
I think it is.
yeah.
That game looks cool.
It's awesome as hell.
soon.
April 16th, I think.
It might have been the same day. There was something else in here, April 16th.
Cuphead.
No. Whatever. It was another game we were talking about today.
Oh,
no. It was literally the
Dreams.
Dreams Early
Yeah,
Access.
yeah.
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Dreams Early Access. Like, I'm kind of interested. I don't have the time for it, but I really want to make
That's
sure
a
to
cool
try it out.
stream game. I think like it's not. I'm not.
Well,
really-
you might know a streamer.
Yeah,
You can go
exactly.
check that out.
Yeah, twitch.tv/FM3_, baby.
So I'm excited about that.
Crash Team Racing, obviously, I can't
For you,
fucking
yeah.
wait for.
I mean, I'm excited too, but it's not one that I'm like frothing at the mouth.
I can't wait. And they're adding all these new courses and stuff. Well, new. They're
looks
going
good.
to be new to me from Crash Nitro.
Yeah, you already
I never
got to
really
play
got
it
into that.
a month or two ago, right?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
I had to miss that event.
Was this over the next month was the question, or months?
Next few months
Yeah.
is what they said. 'Cause
Rage.
that's June.
Rage
so.
2. Obviously, the Division 2 DLC that's coming, or not DLC, but there's World Tour 5 is days away, and then there's updates to Division 2. I'm still in, Greg's still full in, Wit is in. So those are exciting, and I feel like there's something else in there that there's some
Mario
good
Maker
stuff
2
coming.
for me, that's June, but still can't wait for that.
Frothing.
But like, what's
Mario
coming? Like, I don't know.
It's always one of those things, like we just went over.
What's
There's
immediately
so many
going on?
freaking games, man.
Yeah.
You got to get that full list in front of you because there's just stuff that we're forgetting. But like tip of my tongue, honestly, Days Gone was the easy one
Yeah.
that I'm just so excited for.
For me, though, it's like the big ones that I like. If we were to look back at Gamescast a couple months ago, like what are we excited for in 2019? We already kind of hit all my heavy hitters, where we got Resident Evil 2, we got DMC 5, we got Kingdom Hearts 3. Like
It's been a good year so far, and you got Cuphead.
on
Again.
Switch, baby.
And you beat it, I saw, dude.
I beat it.
Amazing. I was
So
like,
good.
when does Outer Worlds come out? Do we know? I forget if it's...
Oh shit! All right, let's keep going. Actually, squad up time. Brian at Garbage Man Games, aka Brian at GarbageManGames.com. His email right there. Hello, Tim and Fran. Might I say you're both looking especially lovely this morning. Thank you, Brian. I'm looking to squad up with some kind of funny best friend content creators in the Phoenix area. This year, a couple of my friends and myself began creating a weekly podcast and gameplay videos. We've been steadily building up a library of content, and now we're looking to get some sweet cross-pollination going. If you create gaming or entertainment content in the Phoenix area and you're interested in guesting on one of our shows or having one of us guest on yours, hit me up on Twitter or shoot me an email at GarbageManGames or Brian at GarbageManGames.com. Hit him up, collab, make some magic happen.
That's cool.
It's very cool. Now it's time to check what we got wrong today. Okay.
I'm clicking the link too.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone
That's
today.
gonna be real
I was
hard on
paying
your
attention
phone,
to the
yeah.
show. In case you saw me looking at my phone, it was the run of show.
Kebab says CD Projekt Red's game engine is indeed called Red Engine.
Thanks for the confirmation. What was the one that I thought I got wrong? Maybe that was it.
Okay.
Google Sheets on a phone just, I'm sorry, doesn't do it for me.
Google Sheets in general isn't phenomenal.
There's a lot of editorializing, guys. Not
Just
what we
send
are
in.
looking for.
You gotta realize it's tough for the host in real time to look for you were wrong about. That's the main thing we want to see. Obviously, confirmation is nice and all, but it is there for fact checking, and we really just need the stuff where it's like you absolutely were wrong. Like,
Also, if you start with, this is not really a you're wrong, don't post it.
exactly.
Don't
Help
post
us out. Meaning help the hosts out. It's always tough. Tim is so much more calm and patient. I freak out when I look at You're Wrong because there's so much in there sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like carry the show and like do it live and
No,
like
you just gotta
me.
do it. Kebab says Outer Worlds currently doesn't have a release date, just 2019.
Just caught it. That's what I just looked at it too.
Oh, sorry.
Love you, Kebabs.
And then
I didn't say it,
Oh,
so
okay.
he's right. He
okay.
confirmed.
And then I'm just gonna end this here. Because tomorrow it's going to be you and Imran Khan.
Yes.
Kind of Funny Games Daily. Stay tuned. Next up
feeling
we got
better.
Debatable. But to close out the show here, Rocket Guardian writes in and says, I would argue that EA launched a $60 game in early access called Anthem. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, see you tomorrow.
Wowzers.